This album's made up of 3 works that I absolutely adore and which I've been dreaming of recording and playing for many years. The John Williams Escapades is just fabulous and was already, thankfully, written and very much prepared for performance before we came to it. And it was actually suggested to me as something to record by Hugh Humphreys, who runs the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra, with whom we've recorded the albums, so that was very nice. Michael Kamen's Concerto was a really long-term dream, and it took me many years to find the score because it was written for David Sanborn, and just after Michael Kamen wrote it, they recorded it, and then it the score was never really distributed after it was published, and so it was very hard to find the score. Of course, I grew up listening to Going Home as every other child born in the 80s, and probably many other decades did, and especially being a saxophone player, I was thoroughly aware of it and loved it, and never really thought of playing it myself until I heard it again a few years ago, and just remembered how much I'd loved it when I was a child, and started to think about the idea of what it might be like to have it arranged for saxophone and orchestra. And I looked into it a little bit more, and I got in touch with Mark Knopfler's manager, Paul Crockford, who was very helpful, and he gave me a selection of Mark's works, and I discovered that there were a lot of parts of the score that he wrote for the film Local Hero that would work very nicely in a concerto or in an orchestral piece. And I started to think about that a little bit more and put the idea around, and fortunately the ABC were just fabulous and took it up, and we asked Jessica Wells to arrange it, and gosh, she's just done the best job ever, and she was perfect for this kind of genre of music, and we had an absolute whale of a time recording it, and it's been great fun. But I'm very pleased with the result, and I think she is too, and I'm so grateful to her for everything that she's done. This project was even more special to me because I was able to record with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra, who are just one of my favourite orchestras, and also Ben Northey, who is a good friend, and with whom I've worked on various other concerts and over the years. He's an Australian conductor who's spent a bit of time in London, where I live as well, so it was just really great to work with him, but also he's a saxophone player, and it's always a really special experience to work with him, because obviously there aren't many conductors who are also saxophonists. Really fortunate that ABC Classics picked up on this idea. It was something that I'd dreamt of doing for many, many years, and it just fell into place so beautifully with the Australian orchestras and the radio and all the facilities that ABC have, and they were able to make it possible, and they really showed a lot of passion, and all the producers and everybody involved seemed to just be wonderful, and it's been a great few months of putting it together. Two of the works on this album are very close to home for me because I'm specifically a classical saxophonist mostly. They are the John Williams Concerto and also the Michael Kamen. The Michael Kamen Concerto branches out slightly because it was written for David Sanborn, and for that I was very lucky. I spoke to David, and gauge his views of how it should be played and how Michael wanted it to be played, because he worked with Michael on it very closely as it was being written. And his recording is certainly very specific to his style of playing, and I wanted to make sure that I got that right. And he was really kind and spent quite a lot of time explaining how he thought it might be interpreted, and was very grateful for that. I think that the saxophone is increasingly more popular with classical composers, and I'm very fortunate to be able to work with contemporary composers on new works quite regularly. And whenever I meet composers, they seem to be very keen to include saxophone in their music, which is very heartening and lovely.